how you feeling about the retirement of Brad Sheppard?
Yeah, look, we just heard him speak to the staff and players, and really emotional. To be honest, he's had a wonderful career that's been cut short, unfortunately, and he's dealt with a lot of adversity over his career and always handled himself really well. And today's no different. The way he spoke, it was first class. But he's going to be missed.
Have you even got around to thinking about how you replace him on the field, or are your thoughts just with
No, not at the moment. It's just the thoughts with Brad. I know there's been some conversations and some rumours, but to make it official today and deal with that's the priority at the moment. And obviously the football moves on, but we'll give it 24 hours before we move on to the next phase.
Adam, how shattering is this for the club, particularly in light of only a couple of months after saying goodbye to Daniel Venables?
Yeah, look, I don't think we're thinking from a club point of view. It's more personal and Brad and what he's going through, and like I said, the adversity he's put up with over his journey. I've had a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to be a part of it, really, and what he's gone through, and all Australian. His career speaks for itself. Over 200 games. It's just really sad that it finishes this way.
Is it related more to his final game or to a combination?
Oh, look, I don't think it's right to talk about his personal issues from a medical point of view. A, I'm not qualified, and B, it's probably not about that today. So that we'll work through that, and I'm sure you guys will get some information as we go through. But today's more about him and the fact we lose one of the better ones.
Are you able to shed some light on when you found out maybe that this was a possibility and that Brad was thinking about maybe stepping away from the game?
Yeah, well, obviously the season finishes. We all exit our players, and we work through the list and what needs to be done. These things are different because they're a little bit separated from your standard procedure. So it's actually taking a step back from my point of view, ask less questions, and I just get informed on how things progress. So I've really been in the background with it all. It's been with the doc in particular. So, yep, I've been kept updated, but not forcibly asking what's going on.
Does he leave Adam while he's still, I guess, a top line defender? Do you feel like he was still at that level when he leaves the game?
Absolutely, yeah. There was plenty of games left in Brad. Yeah, so he had a little bit of an indifferent year with his body this year, and obviously a few concussions, but he still had plenty of good footy left.
Where does he rank in the scheme of defenders that you've seen in your time in the game?
Well, it's interesting. We spoke briefly about his career today, and in 15 we had this very short defence because of some injuries, and a couple of our big fellas had knee reconstructions, and he filled the void. He was playing on talls, playing on resting ruckman, supporting others in the air, and then fast forward 2 or 3 years, he's playing on the best small forwards in the competition and doing a very good job. So versatility, it comes to mind, and the ability to adapt as a player, that's what gives you longevity. So he was probably another phase away. Wouldn't have surprised me if he elevated to a bit more of a rebounding defender, because he has those capabilities as well. He's just too bloody good at stopping small forwards. So, yeah, that's the sad part about it, that he didn't get to fulfil his full career, but he did achieve a lot, like I said before, and over 200 games. And the way we look at him is he's a premiership player. Like, he was so much part of that 18 season. Along with a few other players, obviously Nick and Gaffey and even Eric McKenzie, but Shep in particular, all the way to that first final before he was struck down. The adversity piece comes to mind.
Do you get the sense that maybe he didn't get the recognition or accolades outside of the club that he maybe deserved in terms of being underrated a little bit?
Probably. If you ask him that, he'd probably say yes. But I think getting rewarded with All-Australian, I think it was 2020. I think that probably a bit of validation for his career. And I mean, that's probably the beauty about an All-Australian award. It's over time. It's a body of work. And as much as it's about this season, it's when you consolidate as one of the better players in the comp. So I think that's when everyone within the industry knows how good a player he was.
How's he holding up emotionally, and will this decision allow him to live a normal life now? prospect?
Oh, look, I hope so. Yeah, look, this is a moment in time for him that, you know, it's bittersweet. So he should look back with pride on what he's achieved, and you know, I'm sure he'll have some regrets as well in terms of the way it's all ended. But I'm sure if he was sitting here, he'd say it is what it is. He's just got to deal with what's in front of him.
So the experts are pretty confident that if he leaves football now, the issues won't.
Yeah, look, I actually, I wouldn't say it's none of my business, but that's not a question I've asked, and my assumption is he's going to be fine.
How is he doing now?
Oh, he's a bit upset. It's been a big day, so, but it's probably been a month or so in the making as well. So I've seen a lot of retirements, been part of it myself. They're never easy, and they're always emotional. But you know, life will go on.
Was it his decision to not come in here?
Yeah, I think he'll do something in his own time. So you know, we'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, a little bit raw, I suppose. These things are always up to the player. So we'll get something out in the next couple of days, and he'll work through the next phase for you guys.
Is he the type of guy that would pursue a career off the field in football, or do you think he'll step away a bit more?
Got the capabilities to stay in football if he wants to. I think he likes his head on camera as well, so we'll see where that goes. And he's pretty smart as well, so he's got plenty of options. And you know, it's really probably one of the bigger changes in our industry is every club really tries to prepare their players for the next phase of their life and set themselves up in their career off field, and our club's always been good at it, as most clubs are. So he's prepared for the next phase.
How does this decision affect your premiership ambitions?
Oh, look, I haven't gone to those depths really. It's just dealing with the person at the moment. So, you know, obviously he's one of our best players, so we're going to replace that at some stage, but I'm not really in that mindset at the moment.
We're learning more and more about concussions. Do you coach your players any differently in terms of running back, flying the ball, or anything like that?
It's really hard to do that. You know, it's a brutal game. It always has been. I think the AFL are doing a pretty good job to try and learn as much as they can. It still feels like that we've got a bit more to learn about the whole situation, but I think they're putting the right things in place. And yeah, the game's never been as brutal as it is now, you know. So, you know, that's what we sign up for, and it comes with risk.
Seems like we're getting more concussion retirements in recent years. Do you think this will be a trend now, that because there is more awareness, we're more on the ball in that aspect? I'm
not sure. Yeah, we've had a couple. You know, wind the clock back 5 years, it probably the same thing would have happened. I don't think these things are something that we wouldn't have noticed. So yeah, like I said, I think the AFL are on the ball with it. They're doing some things off the scenes that we, you know, hopefully work to have a bit more understanding. But I'm just not qualified to talk about what they are.
Adam, how do you reflect on Brad missing out on the flag now, given this is the end?
Yeah, well, that's what I spoke about earlier, the disappointment of that for a player who he contributed so much, in particular that season, to get to where he should have been part of it, but he wasn't. So, you know, he got a severe hamstring injury, I think, in the first 10 minutes of the first final, and unfortunately missed out. So the way we look at that season, he was so much part of that. He must have played 20 plus games.
So on the back of that, do you have a view about premiership medals and whether they could be given to someone who's played all year?
Oh, look, I don't have a broad view, but I've got a personal opinion of Brad.
How's pre-season started for the rest of the crew?
Well, I only started yesterday. Look, we had the first of 4 years back last week. It's exciting. Yeah, there's some good young fresh faces coming through, and always the first 2 weeks before the senior guys come back, you just see a glimpse of the future. So almost got everyone over. Young Campbell's driving over as we speak. He's going to spend Christmas in quarantine, which is tough for a 17-year-old, but it shows you his commitment. So we're really, I mean, it wasn't something we demanded at all. I think family's pretty important, especially over Christmas period, but he's pretty keen to get here. So I think he's arriving in Adelaide the next couple of days, then he'll do what he's got to do there and get over here in quarantine if he can. So he's pretty keen to get here, and all the other young guys have started. So yeah, really exciting.
Is he driving over on his own?
I don't know. I don't think so. But yeah, he'll eventually be over here on his own for a while. So just different these days when you get drafted to interstate clubs. You know, we set it up pretty well. We've done it for a number of years, but just with COVID and the rules and restrictions, you got to adapt.
How have the other recruits settled in?
Yeah, most of those guys are local boys, albeit not from Perth. So they're fitting really well. So first session yesterday with everyone, and it's exciting. Now we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting into a good pre-season.
There's been a few changes in the coaching kind of staff as well. How's that been going with Matthew Nice and Jared Schofield and some others? It changed the dynamic a little bit there?
Yeah, we traditionally haven't changed our staff too much over the journey. So, I think we've got 4 or 5 new staff members in the footy department. So there's definitely a different feel within the department, which is a positive thing. And that probably coincides with the playing group as well. So, yeah, you always evolve. So clubs, teams, and every season's a new beginning, and it does feel a little bit different this year.
Pre-season's just started, but I'm sure you've been hard at work. What have your last couple of months been like, sort of preparing and getting?
Yeah, look, I won't bore you with the details, but it's not like we take 2 or 3 months off and just and rock up. We've done a lot of planning. Good opportunity for our players to get the operations they needed, get some run in their legs. So, come January, which is really the time when you bring everything together. So you'll see guys come in and out of training, and you'll ask questions about injuries and that sort of stuff. But to be honest, January is when the real stuff starts. We'll try and get as much as we can into the players pre-Christmas individually, but collectively we'll really tighten up in the new year. So, planning's been new relationships, new coaches, new philosophies, new strategies, all those things you try and bring together and make it look simple.
So Adam, last year a lot was said about looking back at last summer in hindsight wasn't ideal, especially I guess some of your bigger known players. With everyone coming back a bit earlier this year, are you feeling like you can get a better, smoother run into summer?
I hope so. Yeah, no excuses on last year, but a little bit disjointed in your off season. It doesn't help. So, getting into I don't think we started pre-season until mid-January last year, and we had lots of players on the sidelines. That's, like I said, it's not an excuse, but to have a really good go at it, especially early in the year, you want to have a good look at pre-season. So every club's in the same boat. They've all had really good off seasons, and I'm assuming across the board everyone's got a lot of optimism with the health of their list because there's more time. So we're in that boat.
And where's Garbat in terms of getting back to full training?
He's not far off, and like I said, I reckon there's probably 5 or 6 players who are coming back from off-season surgery or time off, and you'll see them in training and out of training, and he's tracking really well. It's been a successful operation on his hip. It's freed himself up a lot. So hopefully we see a better version, which would be great.
Sorry.
You're right.
With regard to the vaccine mandates, do you have any worry that any of the players will be unavailable for the start of the season?
No, not particularly. I think I think the cut-off date's mid-January, around the 21st of January. So we'll let that take its course. And no, I've got no real concerns.
So how important is this first 3 weeks before the Christmas break for the guys to go back?
What we're doing now?
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's just an opportunity. Like we didn't have it last year. No one did, especially the teams, that went deep in the finals the year before. So this time off has been really important for everyone to refresh. I think the industry as a whole did it really tough over the last couple of years, and everyone getting a good break has been great. So our players in particular have come back with plenty of energy and enthusiasm. So we're looking forward to it.
How's Willie Rioli looking, and what does his build look like over the next 6 to 8 weeks or so?
Yeah, he's build's good. So he'll be in training, but he'll be out at certain things. He'll be on his own individual plan. He's connected really well with the players. It feels like he hasn't missed a beat. So I can't wait to see him play. To be honest, at some of the things he does in training, he hasn't lost his talent. Put it that way.
And you expect him to play in the pre-season games? That's all looking
Absolutely.
Good. Yep.
Has Liam Ryan had a recurrence of his issue from last year with his shin?
No, we'll work through Liam. We're just going to be careful for what happened last year. So, we need to manage him. He came back hot, came back really, really hard and trained really well. So we're just going to manage his body. So we just backed him off a little bit for the next 4 or 5 sessions, then we'll get going from there.